over here.
I'm working up my energy.
You better get back in place so I can know where you were. Now I have no idea. Get back. Oh gosh, there she goes again. Well, I might as well do it too then. Okay, I'm back. I'm just gonna do circles. Okay. All right. Okay. Woo. All right. You got to stay right there and don't go any more that way because you'll be out of frame. Okay. And I'm assuming that I'm in it as long as I stand next to you and I'm not. This is an unedited. We're going all the way through. I'm not editing this because we're posting it in about 10 minutes. Listen, I'm tired, and so that was to garner all my energy. Get it going. But anyways, I'm not gonna complain. No more none of that stuff. You clicked on this video to have a good time, and you don't want to hear us complain. So on to our other topic, which is oh, is that rain? Crud. I think we gotta go for it. Keep going. Okay. I'm gonna give you like charades. I'm gonna give you an action to try to tell you and show you what this video is about. What do you think this video is gonna be about? Oh, butterfly. Random butterfly. Do we fight really? We get asked a lot. Do you guys fight? Do you argue? Did you used to fight? Did you used to argue? I think a lot of siblings maybe get asked that question or have that just in their life. Am I really fighting with my sibling? Because sometimes you really do. Other times you don't. But I think it becomes more of a question with twins. People who share their lives together. They're born together. They're born at the same time. And if you were just with somebody 24/7 for your entire life, even into adulthood, and then maybe you grow up and go your separate ways, whatever, that's different than siblings. One's already established by the time the other one comes along. Completely different story. But two people who share their entire lives and every life experience are bound to fight, right? Maybe you could just punch me for the camera. Give me a good one too, right? A discussion on do we really fight? Of course we fight. But we never fought like that. Like I think one time we were getting out of the bathtub, we were like 8 or something like that, and I don't remember who punched who first. I don't remember that. I do, and then the other one punched the other one back, and we realized, well, this wasn't really fun, and we didn't do it again. This wasn't productive. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of like physical. There might have been a little pushing, a little shoving, a little petty stuff, like I'll pull your hair, you pull my hair, I'll push you over there. We didn't do a whole lot of that because Mom would have never tolerated a lot of that. But I don't think that it was productive because I knew if I push Corie, Corie will push me back. Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Once we learned, well, okay, we're just going to pay each other back. Right. Less of that. And I feel like as a child, more childish matters might cause you to fight. Someone took my toy. You're hanging out with my friend and that's supposed to be my friend. That's where some of the tension, the underlying tension would come from because we share everything. And so it was like, but I want my friend. I want the shirt. I want the shoes. I want the experience once, just me. And I hope, when I say I'm sure you felt that way too, it's to make myself feel better about the statement that I just made. I would say, especially growing up, that some of the tension from that of just wanting your own individuality a little bit, that might have caused the fights of, well, no, I just want to do this. Why can't it just be me? We didn't do that, I wouldn't say like a ton as kids or as adults, especially not now as adults at all. But it was there some. And I'll just I'm going to take the lead on this for a second and maybe take us in a direction that I don't know if you want to go in or not. Well, it's okay, because if I don't want to go in it, we'll just fight right here on camera, right? That's right. I'll just shove you down the driveway here. Pump the brakes if you don't want to go in this direction. Okay. I'm pumping them. No, I'm joking. I didn't say anything. I would say, without going into too much detail, the worst really time that we ever were just in sort of disagreement long term was in adult life. Yeah. And that was incredibly tough. And that is one of the tougher things I've ever been through, to be honest, in my whole life. And I think that you would say that too. And, oh yeah. And it's actually very interesting because that's kind of, I would say, how this channel was born, but the channel already existed. We had the channel years ago when our cousin started it, but we didn't decide until late 2020 to actually say, hey, let's consistently post. And that was part of how the channel honestly came about. And I think it's part of how the channel has evolved into what it is now. If you go further back into like the archives of our older videos, it's all music. It's strictly music.
It was just music.
COVID changed things for a lot of people. It erased all the gigs that we had, and then it kind of erased our motivation to play. At least it erased some of mine. And then we started thinking, well, we didn't make this channel for nothing.
And then I got married and we got busy. And
yeah, and we weren't together all the time.
And then we were like, hey, could we just post? Could we post more lifestyle content? Would we want to? In the beginning, I said no. Why would I want to do that? I just want to do music. And then it become, well, we built this community around, that's not what this whole video is about, but we felt like we were building this community and receiving so much good feedback that what if we share other things with these people and
kind of step out of just the music scene and do something a little different,
so on and so forth. And here we are today, and now I'm kind of on this side wishing we had time for more music on the channel, which we have done some recently.
Isn't that interesting? That is, Corey's right. That's not something I had thought about. I was thinking more of just an overall glimpse, a picture of my life, of your life, of our life. But we did. That was the biggest argument. And it really all started...
That's not something we've ever talked about on the
channel.
No,
we haven't. We've never talked about that. It all started with, I came home one day and said, I'll play music, but I'm done gigging. I'm done playing out in public. I don't want to play anywhere in public. I'm done. I don't know that I'm done. I think at that point I thought I was done forever, but I was like, for now, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not going to do it. I'll finish out what we've got, and then I'm not doing it anymore.
And I was very much like, yes, didn't want to do that.
Corey wanted to do it, and I did not want to do it, and it become a really big source of contention. We would go days without talking. We would go weeks with just barely like, hey, how are you? And that's like all we would say. And Corey lived over at her house, and I lived over here, and she would come over here, and I would just like find somewhere else to go, something else to do. Yeah, I had a relationship that took me 2 hours away, and so I just spent like all my time out there. I would pack enough clothes to stay for like a week at a time, and I just wouldn't come home because we were...
It was such a source of
tension. I wasn't fighting with mom and dad. I was fighting with Corey, but because we're such a tight-knit family...
It affected them, too.
It affected the whole family. Mom was upset, Corey was upset, Dad was upset. Everybody was upset because me and Corey couldn't be in the same room as each other because it was ugly, it was snippy, it was backbiting. I'm ashamed about some of the behavior, to be in my late 20s and act like that.
Well, I feel the same way.
It was terrible.
And it's so easy now, of course, because we've been through it. We're older. Obviously, having kids really changes your life in many ways and your perspective. But it's easy now looking back to be like, that was so stupid and so silly. Who cares? One person wants to do it, one person doesn't. Like, we'll work it out. God will work it out. It's really funny. It's like I was so crushed by that because I had in my head, well, the only thing I'm really good at is playing music. And if I don't make it at this, I'm just not good for anything else. I just wasted my talent. I'm not good at anything else. Like, no one will want me for anything else. Whatever. And it's like I had this just intense, like, dream in my head, and then Katie didn't have it. And I was just like, wow, Katie crushed my dream. That's not what happened. But at the time, that's how it felt. And
on my side, I was like, Corey's cramping my style. She's trying to make me do this thing right now in my life that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But it's, in hindsight, don't we all look back and wish that we could do things differently, or wish we hadn't done things at all to begin with?
But truthfully, I mean, we stand here and say, well, if we could go back, but that strengthened our relationship more than anything ever has. And I won't say ever will. I was going to, but never. You
can't ever say never.
You can't.
I think having babies, you being present for your nephew's birth, me being present for my nephew's birth, that was like a strengthening like nothing else. That's totally different than this experience. But I want to say that it's not just unique to twins or to spouses. You think about people who spend their whole life together. You think about people who've been married for 40 years. Well, they've been together longer than me and you have because we're not 30. We're not even 30 yet. I don't think that it's a problem that's unique to us, but how the problem unfolds and the experience of the argument itself is unique because if you marry somebody, you can say, I got married when I was 25 and I spent all my 25 years, the first 25 years of my life, and I didn't meet my husband or wife, and then I met him and we've been married for 40 years. I spent day one, like my first breath that I took was with her. You know what I mean? And that closeness that you have with somebody, that bond that you have, if that somehow gets broken, especially over something that's a two-sided thing, my side, your side, that's ugly and it's hard, and it almost, I wouldn't say it almost ripped us apart, but it felt like it was going to rip us apart, and it was an awful, ugly, horrible time in my life, and we never talked about it, and we hid it from the channel because I didn't want to come on here and say, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if me and my sister are ever going to be able to be friends again, and so we just kind of did a really good job masking it. But I can go back and look in those videos and be like, oh, we could hardly stand to sit next to each other to be in front of a camera. And so that's fighting. That's a huge argument.
There is
wow.
Yeah, there's specific videos where, and I can remember emails. I can remember one email that was particularly soul-crushingly mean. When we went to the Appy Awards in Kentucky a couple years ago, because our mom was nominated and did win the award. At that time is when some of that was going on, and so sometimes it would just be me on the channel for a good while because it was just this awkward thing.
Yeah, and we couldn't get along until Corie was like, I'll just do the channel, and I was like, and you just do it, because I was just like so hurt that I was like, I can't come in front of a screen. And so I just spent, like I said, I packed my suitcase and went 2 hours away and just lived at somewhere else, you know. I mean, I didn't set up there permanently. I'm not saying I moved out permanently, but I'm just saying I spent a lot of time
for a while
away.
Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm trying to...
I interrupted you.
No, you're good. I'm trying to reel it back in. And can you help me? Because it's just the real
You were talking about the soul-crushing email that you got about...
the soul-crushing email. And it was from this person, and I can't remember the exact details of the email. Even if I did, I wouldn't probably say the exact words. But it was a lot of me, and people got used to this persona of us together. And even now sometimes it'll be, if it's too much of one person in the videos,
where's the other one of you? Are you fighting again?
But that happened a lot, and for me that was always the hardest thing, because I was felt so crushed at the time that we couldn't do music. And then it was like, well, I want to pour all this effort into the YouTube. Then it was like, well, where's Katie?
Oh, so sad
for me. Because it was just like, oh, okay, I'm not enough, and that's not how people meant it. But the one person did mean it. The person who sent, like, that's probably like one of the ugliest things that's ever been said to me.
And when I found that out later, even though we were fighting, I was so mad. I was like, what? Give me their address.
And it was basically just someone like saying that, like, I was trying to control everything and take everything over, and I was kicking Katie to win. And we had several people say that at the time, and it was like, no, you have no idea what's actually going on behind the screen. And the channel almost did not go on. The channel almost did not keep going, but by the grace of God it did. And so anyways, all this is real negative stuff. So
no, but listen, we're just being honest and transparent.
About fighting. That's the worst time though.
And it wasn't, it's not like Corie just took the channel. I backed up. I mean, and I'll just be,
but I always like tried to pull Katie in, and
she did, and I fought her. Oh my gosh, I fought her tooth and nail.
I was pushy. I was really pushy.
I was mean. Ooh,
I was too pushy.
And I was just at this place, and we all do that. I was at this place in my life where you're like, these are the things I know I need to do. And number one, I need to just pray about this. I need to give this to God. I need to do the things that will make me feel better. But I was just running. I was like, I would look behind me and I'd be like, oh, you mean do something that would be like reasonable and would make you feel better and be the bigger person and make amends. And I was like, oh, it's getting closer. Better run faster. You know, I was just at this. Was just not a good place in my life to come back to you and say, let's talk about this and let's work this out. One of us could get in a car wreck tomorrow. So the fight continued because I was on my side, you were on your side. We're both incredibly stubborn people, and we wouldn't give and we wouldn't give. And I really
went on like that for like a year.
It did. Right? I can't even remember what it was that finally broke it.
It was just kind of like continuous conversations, and I think we were both tired. I think we were tired. I
think it was going bored, and we missed each other. I missed my best friend. You know, Corie got married and moved out, and so she kind of has, you know, I'm like, okay, well, Austin is your new best friend, and I'm like, well, my parents have always been my best friends, you know, but I was like, well, it's really just me here and my rocks and my jewelry, and I kind of miss my friend, and
that dynamic was just very difficult.
It was hard,
and for us being so close, but I can remember, you know, to share the happy ending. Obviously, you know there's a happy ending because, like, here we are.
Yeah. Obviously, we worked it out.
But I can remember just that kind of the phone conversation where it quite literally felt like everything just broke and busted, and we realized, what are we doing? Like, we don't know exactly how we're going to find our way out of this, but we have know we're going to, and we're both
committed to doing that. Yeah.
I can remember being in my yard, and I can like tell you what I was wearing. I can tell you like almost the day and what the weather was like and all of that stuff at my old house, talking, and that was like I could just like it was like a very, I don't know, I could just feel it, and anyway, so that's definitely the time that we fought the most, and it is interesting. We never ever said that on the channel.
Such a big part of our life, but our story together, you know, because we are always together. And you know, I felt like a lot of some of what I was feeling come out of this place of like my sister, and we're always together, and she got married and she left, and it see, we have a visitor here in the living room window. Nice. You know, we're always together, and that dynamic changed. And instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to pray about that and we're going to work through this, I just dove off the deep end. And out of that place of hurt, I was like, I'm going to pick a fight with somebody. And I guess it's my sister. And so I feel like I had a train of thought too, but Dad, making faces in the window, took the idea away. But we worked past that, we worked through that, and I know that some of my behavior in that was coming out of this place of my life has just been turned upside down. And now I know if I ever were to face anything big, huge, different in my life, I can take what I learned there, and I can take this new skill set that I have and apply it. And I kind of did when I found out, oh, I'm pregnant, and yeah, that's not what I meant to happen for my life, and here I am, and it's just me and the baby, and we're living at Mom and Dad's house. I thought to myself, well, what did you learn from that? You know, and I kind of took some skills and things that I was taught, put them all later in my life, you know. And that's something I want to say in this video. If you are fighting with somebody, or you have a bone to pick, or you got some sort of anger that's causing you to have contention or strife with somebody,
work it out,
get it fixed, so you're not miserable, so they're not miserable, so you have that love and that family, that relationship, because you're never going to look backwards in your life and say, I wish I'd have made more money, I wish I'd have been more successful and had the car and had the status and all of the physical belongings. When you're old or in your lowest of days, I'm never going to look back and say, I wish I'd have made more jewelry. I'm going to look back and say, I wish I would have just forsaken my entire jewelry business and spent every waking moment at the feet of Ira as a child, because he's going to grow up and be gone. And it's the same thing with your family members. I need to spend all my time with Corie, loving her and never fighting, because I'm not promised forever. And even if we've got however many years,
have forever in heaven.
Oh, well, that's true.
But I know what you're saying. Just
physically here, and that's true for you too. Get it fixed today. Yeah. And even if it means you got to be the bigger person and say sorry, even if you're like, I don't really want to say sorry, it's not my fault. Do it so that you don't waste that precious time with the person you're fighting with, but you don't waste your own life. Because if you've got some sort of contention going on in the background and 40 open tabs with whoever it is, a business, a employee, fix it so that your life isn't miserable. And it's not too late to fix it.
Never. And we can't talk about fighting without talking about forgiveness.
Yes, on to the next installment. You know,
I've heard people say before, even if, like, you don't have to forgive the person because they deserve it, but you do. And they actually do deserve your forgiveness, because, you know, biblically, we're supposed to forgive others as God forgave us. So
absolutely,
that's the biggest thing there about forgiveness. But also God will give you the patience to do that. It won't be in your own strength. You can just say, I want to do what's right, God, even though I know it'll be really hard, and you can help me, because that was one of the biggest things about that time, is that
bugs.
Bugs! They're everywhere. In that moment, that when I was standing in my yard and we had that phone conversation, the biggest thing was that God just showed me, I think I've told you this before, but I've never said it much, that I just had endless patience for you. I mean, it got to the point, you know, I almost tried to, like, purposefully just say, I gotta almost, like, just not push Katie out, but I mean, I guess, for lack of a better word, because it hurt so bad. And God made me realize I couldn't do that. Or he created us, you know, to be twins, and our bond was so strong that I even tried to be like, this hurts so bad, I gotta push it out. I can't do this. And God showed me that I have an endless supply, like a bottomless pit of patience for Katie.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying I'm perfectly
way.
patient, but I just learned through that after that, there's nothing that we could go through that to where we would just wind up not, you know, speaking to each other. And I know some people will be like, oh, well, you know, I'm a twin and don't say that and you never know. But no, I do know.
No, I know too.
After going through that experience and having that feeling, I realized there's nothing that you could do to, now it's not against my will. That's how I want it to be. I look at that as a blessing. But I'm quite literally saying, like, it wasn't even up to me. It was just God. It's like a rope, like you were like tied to me, and I can't cut the string.
Yeah,
I don't want to cut the string.
I feel the same way about you, and it's a choice. So much of life is a choice. I'm a big person. I'm a big proponent of. I'm a big person on the stance. It's what you choose, and you can't make. Now, we're not talking about people who have extenuating circumstances, people who have illnesses and all that. I'm not saying that. if you're mentally and physically able, it's a choice. All of life is a choice, and you cannot sit around and feel sorry for yourself and cry and complain and feel bad
and that's kind of
about things when it's your, look in the mirror and say, I had to do, look at that girl, she's my problems. You need to get rid of that girl.
That's where I felt that way, and the biggest thing God taught me through all of that was that I really thought that I was good at loving people. No, because I was loving you conditionally. Because as soon as you were like, I don't want to gig anymore, I was just like so crushed. I couldn't get that out of the way. That circumstance hid my vision and momentarily clouded it from the overall blessing of just our relationship. And who cares about that? It may hurt, but we'll work it out.
And that's humanity in general. We are a conditional people. But
and that's
you do
bad. I did not like that about myself. Realizing, wow, I'm only capable of loving someone conditionally.
No.
I suck.
Well, how are a lot of us any? I mean, how
that's
are any
been
of us
a big
any different?
lesson for me though. Is making
and all
sure
that
I'm
counts
not
is
doing it.
you know that you, even if you pray that prayer, hey, I'm really mad and I'm really bitter, but I know I shouldn't be, so please help me not be.
And see,
please help me show what you'd have me to do.
I wasn't really doing that. I might have done that like once a month.
I don't do that.
I didn't have.
I need to do that.
I didn't have
more
the
than
spiritual maturity at that point to do that, but
you have it now.
Experience gave that to me,
and I have it now.
Anyways.
And it's a choice.
So,
all of life is a choice. You can fight, you can argue, or you can decide. Of course, all my decisions come out of a place of I want to do the best that I can do before God.
Right.
It's really pitiful, and it's really just filthy rags. I have zero worth and zero righteousness, but it's a choice, you know.
But these days, speaking of choices, when's the last time we fought about something?
We don't ever.
We don't fight about anything.
Never.
Ever.
Probably out of a fear of like, I'm never going to go back to that place. That was
Sometimes
so scary.
we might disagree, and I might say, well, I don't know about that, or you might say, well, I don't know.
But we never fought like that. And all of our life, up until like, to even take a little flashback at the end of this video to teenagers, we would fight over, that was my friend. No, I thought that boy was cute first. No, I wanted to wear that because we shared a lot of clothes. Or I wanted to go here. Something like that. By myself or whatever. But it was never anything like that once we become like, okay, I am my own adult, I have my own car, I have my own choice, I can go anywhere, I can do anything, and this is what I want to do, and you want to do something different, and here's this talent that we share together, and it just literally split in the middle. And eventually,
but now we can see God's hand. Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
Well, but God knew. Like I had no idea where my life was headed. I had no idea where my life was going.
Yeah.
And the reality is even if I was like doing all these gigs, I would have eventually had to quit because I'm like, I can't. Listen, I can't do that now because what am I going to do with Ira? And I know I'm going to get a million comments. You take him with you. It's just not like that. It's not that easy.
It's not exactly that easy. But that was God, I think, setting us up for, the childbearing years to where we could still do this. And not just that. I mean, the most important thing is we feel like this is a ministry and that we feel like we're blessing people more and we're able to help people more doing this than we did the gigs. And
we reach more people like this. That's a fact.
We reach more people. And we're not saying that we'll never do gigs again. Every once in a while we play at church. Every once in a while we play places. But as far as, like, I was like, let's take it to the next level. Let's just, like, gig all the time.
Yeah, and I was just like, Katie can't.
I don't think that would have suited us.
Katie's
it wouldn't have suited
broken.
me. Yeah.
And I just...
All right, we better get off of here. I bet you this video is getting long.
Yeah, and I'm not listening. We're doing this video, and in like 4 minutes, I'm going to go inside and upload this video. But this is something I've wanted to do for a long time because we get a lot of questions about that. Like, how do y'all get along, and what is your relationship? And there's so much that happens off the camera that you never see and you don't know anything about.
But we try to be very transparent too, because I would never, if you could meet us in person today, I would never want you to be like, wow, you're so different.
Oh no,
compared to the people we see on the screen.
That made me feel really bad. Yeah,
so we always try to be transparent, but also like tactful and tasteful at the same time, and we'd never want to air out our dirty laundry. That's why at the time we just didn't say anything.
And I don't think it's beneficial for anybody to do that, for that matter.
But this far after the fact, years after the fact,
it's a part of our history. It's a part of our story. It's a part of our growth.
God growing us,
and that's my reach to you. That's the message. Whoever you're.
Yeah, if you're fighting with someone,
got the elbow dropped down on your life, pull your elbow back.
Yep,
get it fixed.
Don't be like we were for so long. Be willing to
nothing
forgive.
Good comes from it.
Willing to
open your heart. God will do the rest. He can help you do that.
Open your heart.
Open your heart.
All right, we gotta go.
All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. That's one thing I really do feel like about us is that this is just me. That I'm just genuine, and sometimes you get your feelings hurt because you hear people say mean things, and you get mean comments. But just one thing that I know to be true is I'm just being myself. Like, I'm just not being anything else other than me. This is just the best I got. There's a song, it was like, and he did his best, but his best just wasn't very good. That might be me.
It may not be very good, but it is our best.
But I do try honestly and earnestly. And I know for the people who love our video, for the people who just want to be a part of the community here that God has so graciously made, I know you know that, and I know you believe that.
Yeah,
and sometimes you can't let the 2 or 3 comments make you want to fight. You just have to be like, well, those people didn't see the real me anyway, and if they didn't see the real me, then they were never gonna really appreciate what I'm doing my best to do here. So, right, goodbye. All right, Corie, hit it.
God bless you, God keep you, and we'll see you on the next one.